miles ahead.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing with Miles Morales, or Cren, Undercity Dreamer, who can either be cast as or transform into Cren of the Spider Brood. When Cren enters, you get to put 2 counters, one on each of up to 2 creatures. Then you can transform him into a first striking hasty creature that attacks in and doubles counters on all your legendary creatures and spiders. And because he has this ability to put counters on himself and give himself some hexproof on the backside, you can also protect him from removal. But in this deck, we're playing aggressively with tons of +1/+1 counters and legendary synergy, so we don't really need to worry that much about protection so much as we do about damage. And this deck has tons of damage. We're able to place tons of counters on our creatures, proliferate those counters, give extra abilities like double strike and trample, and even use our modified creatures to ramp, draw cards, and put cards in exile to cast. This deck has the best of both worlds, whether it's legendary synergy or +1/+1 counters, and then doubles up all those abilities with cards like Any Joins Up. So let's take Cren, or Miles Morales, into the queue and see how much damage we can scale up these walls. Jodah the Unifier, a 5-color Legends deck. I'm 3-color Legends, and I don't have as much synergy as they do, because their commander is synergy on its own. All they need to do is cast a legend. Once they've done that, they've done the thing, because it has a fake cascade ability that gets you another legend. And Jodah then buffs every single legendary creature. Seriously, why, how, what? Based on the number of legends, including himself. Yeah. Right? Like, that's weird. I'm going to play Kraza, give him a +1/+1 counter, so Hardened Bonds will trigger, and I got, aw, Zach! Zach, you want to hang out with your ex? Can I even call it an ex? Ex-existence. With this Kami here, I think I'd rather go for the Kami over, like, Zach Hajar this turn, even though it means I'll have, like, less power in play. If I get this card, I always want to try to buff it up so I can unleash as much of my deck as I can. I say fake Cascade, by the way, because it is not templated as Cascade. So if you hit, for example, the 2-mana Valky, you can cast the Tibalt on the backside. Not a wife, she's a widow. Rip. Krenjamin, give him a buff. Ooh, a Lelia. I did play a land this turn, right? I didn't. Okay. Well, then I'm going to play Lelia here to look for one. Swing in. Oh, it's a Hardened Scales. Here comes Zach. Still a good turn. They got to 5 lands, which means they can Jodah and then tap Bloom Tender for 5 mana. What do you have to cast? Ancient Cornucopia. Hey, that's not a legend. Chromatic Light. That's not a legend. That's not a legend. What is this? The only thing I can give haste to are spider people. Spidered men. I could flip over Cren here. I think I'll just do that. And swing in with everyone. I would like to do the Exile first, since that will buff Lelia. Chunky. So they got a block too. Not that two. You still die if you block those 2. And I win, which is great. Good job, Miles Morales. Druneth, Reviver of the Hive, is sometimes also a +1/+1 counters deck, but is more importantly a clones deck. Going to be making copies of cards they cast that have a mana value equal to Druneth's power. So first a 1-drop, then a 2-drop, unless you are buffing his power with other things. I have a nice 1-drop here. I'm going to name Human, since that lets me cast my commander, but it also lets me cast Esper Sentinel without having to pay a life. And maybe they'll play some non-creature spells? I don't know. I find like Druneth copying a mana dork and then copying some like absurdly good 2-drops and 3-drops is such a fun way to start a game. Do I feel like going for Cren or Bill here? Actually, Incubation Druid could be nice. I'm gonna go for Incubation Druid. And I will offer them a trade. Buy Esper Sentinel for your Druneth. They don't take it. Do I think this card's a little broken? Yes. This is Modern Horizons 2 design, right? Was this one 2? I'm trying to remember which symbol was which. The point is it's a silly card. Alright, so here was Druneth actually copying District Mascot, but getting 2 counters because of Ozolith. The District Mascots also got 2. And they're able to destroy my Esper Sentinel. I will play Bristly Bill into a land to get the Incubation Druid to tap for more. I could use that for Lelia, Cren. We got choices here. I'm gonna go for Lelia. See if they're willing to trade this for the 2 dogs. Because I do have the ability to put another counter on it. One was a double thing. Modern Horizon 2 is a diamond, and 3 is a weird collection of shapes. Okay. What was the, this was 3, because it has the Eldrazi kind of shape to it. But it still has the diamond. I know that they all have, like, a diamond kind of shape. Ooh, Kami of Whispered Hope. So they're definitely a Scales version of Druneth. Making 2 copies of this, which, by the way, means that they're going to be getting an additional 1, 2, 3 counters each time anything would get 1 counter normally. So, like, these 2 dogs are about to get huge. Giddy up. The dogs grow. And my life total shrinks. I think I'm gonna go for buffing Lelia on a Surveil here. I want it to have white mana, though. Or I'll just go Jetmir's Garden. Yeah, the other one is Selesnya. Ow, ow, oof. And Druneth also does have Trample. Do I have any lethal routes using Bristly Bill and doubling counters here? I don't think so. Let's see. We would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Everybody in except for the Incubation Druid. It was lethal. I had to do the math, but it was exact lethal. GG. Tamiyo Field Researcher is a proliferating deck that's looking to ult Tamiyo. You can also just plus her and plus her and plus her, keeping the board in check with board wipes and bounces while doing a little bit of ramping and proliferating, and eventually she'll get to cast everything for free. She also puts more cards in hand because, you know, why not? Sure. That's just how we design cards, I guess. I'll play this. And do I feel like double spelling? Yeah, I'm gonna go for Zac and Cren. We're gonna add some counters onto Zac and Cren. Now Miles Morales and his homie, Zac Fair from Final Fantasy VII. We're just chilling, a couple of 2/3s. It's an Oracle of the Alpha. Oh, now a Bard class shows up after I've played a bunch of Legends. I'm going to use Annie joins up. I could save this to hit Tamiyo, but I just want to move their blocker out of the way and double future legendary triggers. This is such a good card in this deck because we are a Legends deck in Naya colors, and it's like there's a lot of triggered abilities. Cren entering play, that's one of my favorites, but also like the doubling on the backside. Things like Anim Pakal, they get really good. So Skyclave Apparition coming down, and they can permanently try to exile my commander, so I'll have to move it to the command zone. How cruel. Ah, dang, I don't have enough for the, Bard class here. Do I feel like just going for Cren then? Didn't need to shock, but who knows? Maybe it looks like a tithe. We love a tithe. It also is holding up the Zac ability. Hit him with the Zac smack. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Everybody gets counters in case I get some on my Proliferate. Swinging in with Zac. You know you want 3 to the face. Come on, 3 to the face. 3 to the face, please. Opponent? Okay, we're good. It's just the Arid Mesa being like, ooh, please sacrifice me. Get yourself a Triome. Or just a Surveil land. Surveil lands are quite nice. Moving a land away. They do have enough mana for Tamiyo. This doesn't give hexproof, it just gives indestructible and moves the counters over. And if you had any equipment, it would do that too. Birdzo Paradise, more ramp. And it's Tammy time. She is protected by a pair of blockers. Do you go for the plus, or are you gonna knock these 2 down? Yeah, the plus is really good card advantage because it draws you so many cards. And like, I'm a creature-based deck. I want to be attacking. I want red-green. And I want the Rhythm of the Wild. With haste, I am going to be saddling up here. Giddy up. Giddy up. This way I'm only attacking with one of these. Big Zac. Very much hoping they don't have a board wipe, but like, if they do, they do. You like the art on Tamiyo? Yeah, this is from the Bloomborough, like, imagined cards, where they put a bunch of planeswalkers as their Bloomborough selves. I guess Tamiyo is a rabbit, probably because she's a moonfolk, and there's the whole, like, rabbit in the moon mythos. That's Potentially settle the wreckage mana. Man, I hate that. I should have played this and leveled it. Okay. I think that's fine then. And I'll save it. You think we have cute art to distract from the war crimes? Yes. Oh, they also just have a counter spell. Which you two are being targeted? Only Tumblewag and Zach. No, I want to cause the most violence, even if it gives you more card draw. You gonna counter. And I do actually feel I need to attack with 2 at Tamiyo. And the reason for this is if they take an extra turn, her ability to ult is like right there. All right, so I have the ability to give something indestructible, which is good. Zach is out here just trying to solo this fight. Amy, there are rumors that I like treasures. I wonder if I had lethal, by the way, off just doubling Zach's counters and then moving them onto whoever was not blocked. I think there actually was a lethal line there that I missed. That's fine. Are there rumors that I like Transformers? Yes. Yes, because I do like Transformers. Oh, look. See, they found a time walk. Zach's taking that creatine. I like Transformers very much. Am I gonna get farewelled instead? It's cute art to distract me from the fact that the card's a war crime. Real. Can I call them rumors if they're enthusiastically confirmed at every opportunity? No. I think it's a fact at that point. They're trying to think through what they got. Remember, they could be doing the tap. At -2. You think it was the right play because now I can't be blown out by a Solitude? You're right. I was totally playing around Solitude. Totally. Or like a Teferi's Protection. Oh, wait, hold up. Are they thinking or are they roping? They were thinking and now they're conceding. GG, Tamiyo. Bristly Bill, just like us, is going to be putting +1/+1 counters, but they only have to play a land for it. I have a very nice Cavern of Souls here. Not that they have counter spells, but it's good fixing for my humans, which you might not be able to tell. Esper Sentinel is a human. I also have this Mox Amber coming up to hopefully get me some more mana off of Cren in the future. A Llanowar Elf. Hey, you're a human. I'll play Zach. Zach gets me free mana from the Mox Amber. Sweet. And now I could play either Cren or Fnatic. I'm trying to think if I have a way to do that much with Fnatic next turn. I don't, so I'm going to put counters on these two and swing in with the Esper Sentinel. That's a fast, aggressive start. Now, again, because all they need to do is have a land enter, they can make their creatures really big, really fast. I have Bristly Bill in my deck, which is actually kind of nice because I got a lot of fetch lands. I'm in 3 colors. But they get more out of their fetch lands with other landfall synergies like Lotus Cobra. Hello, Lotus Cobra. Some of this. Some of that. Go to combat. Honestly, I could swing it with all of these, so I will. Zach's able to move his counters around to turn a block into a trade here. Like, Zach does not need to stick around. Also, if they went for, like, Lotus Cobra blocking Cren, or Esper Sentinel, that's just fine with me. I'm happy to take that out. Yeah, they're checking, like, hey, you have a mana up. Yes, I do. You are taking damage. Nice. If I wanted to make sure I was triggering Fanatic of Ronus, I could sacrifice Zach, giving the counters to the Esper Sentinel. But because I have so many different mana sources, I don't even need to in order to flip my commander. I play this, flip him, feels good. Oh no, they're going wide. And a Hardened Bonds. I will get to draw, thank you, Esper Sentinel. This is going to get them additional creatures on landfall, but they're missing a land. That's great for me. Unfortunately, Cren does not have any counters on him. But that's like, he doesn't have any counters on him yet. I am going to, before attacking, make him colorless. And I'm just going to do this again to put a counter on him. And then I will again swing with everything here. These are getting additional counters. Esper Sentinel's just itching for a trade. Yeah, like, I would have kept this hand too if I were them. It just stinks that they didn't draw another land. It's one of those, ooh, 2 lands and a Llanowar Alpha. Don't mind if I do. I do mind. I'm minding it right now. They're, I think, trying to pick out, do I block? No. I mean, you trade with the Esper Sentinel. They're not into it. That's okay. I can wait. I don't mind. Just got like a message from a friend saying they really liked when I flung an Ember Cleave at somebody in a game of Brawl. Thank you. I liked that too. I like killing people with Ember Cleave by throwing it at their face. That was in a J. Jonah Jameson game. So you should check out that video if you want to see me throwing Ember Cleaves at people. Speaking of throwing artifacts, I still want to build, oh gosh, Imskir Iron Man? Iron Eater? That guy. I want to build that. I should. There's too many commanders. They made too many cards. Alright, I'm taking them down to 4. Is this Assault Rope? Let's find out. I think it's Assault Rope. Yep. Cool. So, yeah, I'll fast forward to the end of the game. Their timer burns out, and they lose. Which isn't a very exciting way to win, but I had a really strong start. Vorinclex Monstrous Raider actually stops my deck from really working. I do have a way to try and counteract its ability, but what I'm talking about is the fact that this halves the number of counters I get. It also doubles the number of counters they get. I have Vorinclex in my deck. Thankfully, I have a whole bunch of Scales cards, literally the card Hardened Scales, to start this match, which means that I should be able to build up lots of counters using Bristly Bill. Then I have another Scales effect with Kami's Whispered Hope. I have removal that can hit Vorinclex, and it looks like they're doing a Landfall thing, because that's an Aftermath Analyst. Notably, Vorinclex doesn't just double the counters on creatures, it also doubles counters on any permanent, including Planeswalkers, so you can use them to, like, ult right away if they have ults. Could be good. I think I'm gonna save the fetch land here. And play Kami of Whispered Hopes this turn, swinging in with Bristly Bill. And next turn, the Arid Mesa with the extra doubled counters on the Kami of Whispered Hopes, or I should say +1/+1 countered, should give me enough mana to play every single card I have. Though I probably wouldn't be going for the flip here. So this is Vivian, Arcbow Ranger. They're going to kill Kami of Whispered Hopes, which is completely understandable. They know I can make that huge and use it for tons of mana. All right, Aftermath Analyst getting in a hit because they don't want to block with it. Am I feeling Cren and Inti? I think I'm going to go for Inti to guarantee killing Vivian here. I'm going to discard Fnatic, since I can actually use that from the graveyard. Nice, I got a land in exile. That's perfect. This will kill Vivian. Also make a very big bill. Buffing up Inti, and then playing Cren. We're going to just keep getting counters on everything here. Everybody's huge. Nice. Next turn, I also have the ability to double counters off Bristly Bill, which, combined with the trample, means they got to do something. All right, they're going to put a big cat in my way. Hawk doubles their land, and will also just get them a Roaring Earth. So they're like a Landfall Scales deck. That's cool. That's cool. Not playing Aowen here, because they know they are in danger. I'm able to put additional counters and double my counters, so Pawk isn't even the biggest threat on the board. GG. Val Marooned Surveyor is a combo commander, and it's one that I don't really have good ways to stop. My hand is not the fastest, not the slowest, but hopefully I can get rid of them as a player before they can land their combo piece. I don't think I really want District Mascot, even though it is a nice cheap creature here. Val has this obnoxious good pal named Trelasara, and the two of them combined give them infinite life gain and infinite damage to my face, because whenever they scry, they will gain a life, which causes them to scry again if they get that out. And because they're Naya colors, just like me, they're easily able to tutor for their commander pieces. I'll play Mikaeus for X = 1 here. Misty Rainforest. Yeah, there's a bunch of green spells that tutor directly onto the battlefield, and some like Naya ones too, like Rocco, Talisman of Unity. They're just getting some ramp out. I'm sorry, District Mascot. You're a very good puppy. You're such a good dog. I'm gonna thin my deck. Let me just grab a basic here. Kami of Whispered Hopes, and I will be tapping this to add 2 counters. And then next turn, well, hopefully moving these around so I have counters on more things that put more counters on everything, so we can get nutty with it. I'm trying to build up my board as fast and aggressively as I possibly can. Giver of Runes is able to protect their combo pieces. Daxos gains them a life. Hi, Val. At least they don't have the combo piece in hand. Small miracles. Do I want to go for the Ouroboros first? Yep. Void up. Puffin' and buffin'. Here comes Cren. Counters for my friends. Go to combat. These are all going to get 5 +1/+1 counters. No, 6? A lot. Okay, because it's equal to power, not equal to the number of counters on it. So 6. And then +1. Yeah. How much mana do you want? The answer is yes. So let's see if they win this turn. Recruiter of the Guard tutors for Trelasara. And even though I've got close to 40 power in play, and it's going to be even more next turn, it doesn't matter, because this is a combo that my deck really just isn't built to interrupt. Even if it were, it would probably be through single target removal, which would be blanked by Giver of Runes. The combo kicks off. We are taken out. Despite my board isn't fast enough. GG Val and Trailosaur. I won't make them click through all the scries. Tifa Lockhart is going to be erased for my face. I have very little removal in this deck, which means I'm just going to kind of hope that they brick while I play good cards. Here's Hardened Bonds, as an example, going to get me more cards in hand, while they double their power with each Landfall. But it only lasts until end of turn, so they're probably going to line up for a single huge swing. Oh, good. That's a really great draw. I'm going to play this Luminarch Aspirant. She'll put a counter on herself, and we'll see what we get off the bonds. It's... Aw, cute Zill. I could stop them from casting spells on my turn, which is actually very good if they're, like, trying to protect her and I get removal. Makes me kind of wish I put, like, Flage in this deck. I thought about it, but I was like, I'm not going to get much out of Flage other than a Lightning Helix. And that's fine. I don't need to. But I kind of want it. Am I going for Lalia or Cutesill this turn? Go for Cutesill. Putting the counter onto the Luminarch Aspirant. Monkey. I do not have a red legend, so I can't, like, Mox into it. I'm still gonna play this. Yeah, Lightning Helix is rad. Not playing Tifa first for any buffins. Larval Scoutlander. That is going to sacrifice things and put more counters. I wonder if they're like, I got the Bristly Bill and I think the Bristly Bill will be a better matchup than Tifa. That's completely fair. Because Bill is better at blocking, whereas Tifa's more like an all-in-one aggro piece. Ooh, Tajik's annoying. Which shouldn't be as much of an influence as it is, but Tajik's annoying. And I want to draw cards. Okay, so I kind of want to skip right from 1 to 2, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the counter onto him. Swag. And yeah, I'm swinging it with everything. Monkey. 1 mana, 3/2. Perfect. That's all from the Hardened Bonds. Hardened Bonds with Cutesill is so good. I mean, it's also just like a silly card. If you look at the original way this card was phrased, like when I revealed it, they had made the mistake of making this put +1/+1 counters on the cards that it was like, it was finding, so it would self-perpetuate. It didn't need that. Dang, Bill. Okay, so Bill's just, like, massive. Dummy thick, one could say. You can make a 3/3 flyer. It's not bad. I got jump blockers. No, it's Tifa time! And they concede, because I'm extremely wide with a lot of damage. GG. Marata Neuron Hacker is going to be casting artifacts for free. She gets counters based on drawing cards for the first or second time in a turn, either player's turn, and then is going to cast things for free. And because it's a cast trigger, works extremely well with Paradox Engine. Yeah, you already knew that. This is mono blue artifacts card draw, and it's probably going to be supplemented by some tutors and counter spells, but hopefully I can still outpace them with the power of these guys. What am I feeling here? I'm feeling that I search things out. Hardened Bonds. This comes in tapped. Ooh, XL Fanatic of Ronus. Hi, Mox Amber. So they have 3 mana. Iron Crag. 2 mana. Kami Whispered Hopes. Okay. I'll just play that. Take it as a setup turn. And pass back to them. Between games, I was talking about how Edge of Eternities, I think, was a very good set, but I don't really like spacecrafts. And somebody was asking, like, why I think it was a bit of a flop. I think spacecrafts were just, like, a little too clunky. And I think maybe they were just too safe with the design of them. The sorcery speed combined with everything else meant that they moved very slowly and weren't as impactful as I would have liked them to be. I think that, like, there's the possibility for them to have been stronger in their design. Like, if you look at the commander-only ones, In Spirit and Hearthal, those are pretty great. But the ones that were in the limited set, even the rare ones, a lot of them just felt kind of like duds. Okay, so they are countering my commander and bouncing the Kami. That's rough. But I understand. They also have an Aether Spellbomb. Bounce spells are very good against Scales decks. I was about to have a very scary turn, though, so I think that that is a good move they took. Yeah, I think that, like, mounts, to me, are, like, the vehicles I would rather see. And someday I think we'll get, like, a different variant of spacecraft. And we're probably getting spacecrafts again next year with Star Trek. They gotta put the Enterprise in, right? Maybe some warbirds? I don't know. Birds of prey, whatever they're called. Kami of Whispered Hopes again. Please stop countering my beautiful cards. We get extra counters on Zach. Gets me a Dusk Legion Duelist. And I'll attack in with both of these. Yeah, I think that, like, if stationing were at instant speed, they would have had to require more power on them, like 20 plus power instead of, like, the 12 they did for a lot of them. But, yeah, it just ended up feeling bad and limited. And not seem playing constructed. All right, so Aether Spellbomb is putting Zach back into my hand. I am actually going to choose to sacrifice him or play him again. What do I feel? I'm just going to hope you don't have a way to recur that. I am going to sacrifice Zach to put 4 +1/+1 counters onto the Kami of Whispered Hope. If I can get the Kami to stick around for a turn, it will let me unload my hand, which is the thing I really want to do. All right, Murata is casting a free Celestus. I wonder if she's focused on ramp in this deck. The Paradox Engine, always a possibility, but maybe she's just casting some big blue Eldrazi's. They sure can play a big spell for free. They could even use the Celestus to draw another card. And can they tutor? Yes, they can. They could use Inventor's Fair to search out Paradox Engine. Or another card. They could do this on my turn as well, since it's all instant speed. I still think that Zach, like, it would be cool if he got, like, a second alt art. But somebody's like, they're sad that he didn't. You know what I'm sad he didn't get? I'm sad he didn't get flavor text. Zach should say me, Gongaga, on the card. Ooh, Tajik. Neat. I am going to start by attempting to cast Cren. And then do I just go for all the white cards after? Yeah. Got enough mana for all of them. Cren! Putting counters on the Metastatic Evangel and Kami of Whispered Hopes and hoping to proliferate. Who's getting hit? Kami? Alright, in response, I will tap it for 5 white mana. I'll still get the counters on the Evangel, and I'll still get the Proliferate. Ooh, a Kodama. Could be nice later on. We resolve it. I'll play Eris with the gains. Keep proliferating. But since I didn't spread these counters out, it's all the Evangel getting huge here. And Reluctant Role Model. So if something dies, we get to move its counters. Though I don't actually think many of my cards are going to die. They're just going to keep getting bounced. The Might Stone and Weak Stone is, I'll say, different than most of the cards are going to face off against. All right, so a very large Metastatic Evangel swings in for 7. They use the Inventor's Fair to tutor for an artifact. Which artifact? What are you getting? Stop. I don't care what it is. I don't want to see. Yep, there's the Paradox Engine. They also get to draw, which triggers Murata. So they'll get lots of counters on her. I think you start by casting for free the Paradox Engine because she is going to untap with each subsequent casting of other cards, free or otherwise. Here's Paradox Engine. Now, how deep can you go? They're going to tap all of their artifacts here for mana before they untap them all. Emery Lurker of the Lock, thankfully, without the ability to get things back this turn unless they give her haste. But she is able to recur. There's actually an infinite already available to them, Aether Spellbomb, if they can get her able to tap. And if they have that, they can draw through their deck until they hit Aetherflux Reservoir. And Aetherflux Reservoir will then, well, do Aetherflux Reservoir things. Okay, well, now they have Urza. Urza can continue to trigger Paradox Engine by tapping all of their artifacts or just using this floating mana to cast a spell for free off the top of their deck. It shuffles first. They can't set it up, but unless they brick and hit like 4 lands in a row, it doesn't matter. Well, they're going to start with the Cold Steel Heart. That's cold. What turn is this? Is this turn 3? I think it's turn 4. Or 5? Because they, I think I missed a land drop, and they've just been bouncing my stuff, which is why my board feels underdeveloped. Alright, so, Urza, what do you find? They activate him, and the top card is a land! Okay, that's not a hit. Then they do it again, and the card is... Portal to Phyrexia! Portal to Phyrexia? Everything untaps. So yeah, that's rough. Oof, ow, owie. Yeah, they actually have, like, their 2 alternate commanders out. I would say that there's, like, a potential 3rd alternate commander or 4th for this. Like, Reality Chip works. Momenon works. Things that you cast off the top of your deck. They hit 2 counter spells. Okay. But I'd say at this point, they're not guaranteed to hit everything, but they probably are. I am going to concede because it takes them a very long time to execute this. Welcome to combos that potentially go forever, but don't always, but sometimes do. Unesh Cryosphinx Sovereign is going to discount their sphinxes and give them a little bit of fact or fiction when they do. I have a turn 1 Ragavan. Turn 1 Ragavan. These decks are oftentimes just like big blue control with an assortment of sphinxes because they're good. They need to ramp though. And there's some other like weird discounts they can do. I could go for the buff first. Instead, I'm going to play What I Steal. Okay, or it could be a land. I like Vina here. Vina's going to give me some card advantage whenever I cast a legend, like my commander. Mistwalker. It is technically a Sphinx. As much as a Sphinx of any of us. And they are not able to do the buff this turn. Lelia draws me a card. And I'll swing with these two since Ragavan would get blocked and killed. Ooh, Hardened Scales. Bye, Hardened Scales. The Pearl Sphinx is Sphinxes? Can we go with Sphinx instead? Sphinx. I'm attacking with all of these. That Mistwalker can get to 3 power. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have played the land first. Right. Lelia things. Sphinxes is also appropriate. You can pick and choose your plural. Cool! I'm ramping. We love Naya Legends. I just built that Selesnya Standard Brawl Legends deck. This is fun too. Alright, so they get 2 piles. And they're both face up. Which one will you choose? Ramp or spell? Ooh. It's not playing my commander. I don't need that. I'm gonna go for the Eowyn. That gives me protection from blue. And then I can land Erdnan double strike on Lelia, win the game. No Miles Morales needed. He was there for Morales support. Viggo, Enforcer of Ig's Crossing, who's actually Eddie Brock and Venom. I have had a bunch of people request that I build this deck, but I have not been able to find a good way to build it. So maybe this person will have, and I can steal their ideas. I mean, be influenced. Wilmir, this is your chance. Be the influencer I need to see in this world. Nice. That's an elf. Do I bolt the bird? Sword the elf? I mean, it's never a bad idea. I should also say what this does. Viggo's a bit like Ziatora. You attack in, sacrifice a big critter, and then cheat in another after drawing a bunch of cards. It's kind of cool. The front side just brings back small creatures after they die. I can put Guide of Souls here. I also could have gone for a Mikaeus X equals 1. Or a Cren on an empty board, but that's not very good. Warp is fun with Venom. Yeah, you could like warp in a big card and sacrifice it. There's also a bunch of cards that like get discounted. And once he's in play, kind of like Miles Morales, you can flip him over. You can like transform him in place, which is neat. But nah. It costs 6 mana to cast him for the backside or transform him, though. It is a bit like a Gitrog Ravenous Ride, but I think it is slower. I mean, it similarly, it has Menace, Trample, and Haste on the backside, but there's a big difference between like 5 and 6 mana for this kind of ability, I feel. Also, Gitrog cares about power. This one cares about mana value. So this one's better with things that get like discounts. All right, commercial district. Ooh, lesbians. We love women here. Welcome back, Viggo. They're transforming, but they have nothing else to sacrifice. So they'll just swing in. Cool, I'll take 5. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? They've been hit by a smooth criminal. Ow. Alright, swinging for 1. I'm sorry, everybody. Everybody in chats just has to put up with this. Yeah, I find like the front and back side are just kind of like fine and a little slow. I kind of like the idea of playing this with a bunch of cards that get discounted based on the number of like cards that are in your graveyard, and then you play a bunch of self-mill. Ice Till would count. I still... Okay, Generous Ent. Getting cycled, that'll allow them to get a forest of their choice into hand. Nice, Undergrad Mortuary. They're ramping. They're going to be able to keep ramping, too. I have to wait until the end of turn to see if they use any, like, sorcery speed removal here to decide if I am adding or removing counters. For the most part, I'd like to add. Oh, you could do it as, like, a Shadowborn Apostle? That's cute. It's just for the front side. Ignoble Hierarch getting milled. And they surveil a land into the graveyard, which they can then replay later. Sylvan Tutor! What are you putting on top of your deck? Now that you're done milling, what is the creature, if you could search for one, to play? See, I'm trying to get influenced. Okay, Slimefoot and Squee. Did they mill any good creatures to reanimate? There's the Ent. Ent's alright, I guess. I can double cast these for more triggers. I'd rather get the double trigger off Helana and Elena. Buff these up first. And I'm going to make a very, 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 very large Guide of Souls. Chunky. They go to 9. All right, Slimefoot and Squee, Jund stuff. Aw, they milled an Overlord. I guess there's ways to bring it back. They would just need to get this out, have it die, have a Saproling in play, get it in the graveyard, bring it out of the graveyard. Maybe they also do a reanimation spell. They have more mill, though. And mill they shall, using that fetch land. There's a Domri. Morning, Lupine Volt. You ready for your big Helana and Elena action next turn? Better be. I'm ready. Kraza? Okay. Slimefoot and Squee, now in play, comes with a little buddy. I'm hoping I get a land so I can Kodama plus Cren next turn, since then I would get trample on all my modified creatures, which would be really good. Okay, sweet. Land. Kodama. Cren is going to double trigger. We also get the Guide of Souls trigger here, which is cool. I will buff Halana and Elena and Kodama, then Halana and Elena and Cren. I'm going to put counters on all of these. We are going to put counters on this and this to give them more haste. They have trample. We swing in. We win. Sorry, Viggo. I still have not seen a Venom deck that worked. Scions of the Spider. I wouldn't be surprised if this card were in that deck, because it buffs up spiders, and their deck is all about spiders, legendary spiders. My hand's kind of awkward and silly. Don't want to keep it anyway. It's got Gloria. I do like Gloria, but I'm going to throw it back. I want to make sure I have like a creature other than Miles or Cren on turn 2. They're going to be casting as many spider and spider adjacent spells as they can, because all their spiders will be getting haste, flying, first strike, trample. Good. They get good. Very good. Ooh, Tajik, that's a good card. I'll take that. Yeah, this is the Cosmic Spider-Man. And they have ramped. I built that deck. It was fun. Bill or Luminarch? Bill! Verdant Catacombs. Gotta find their mana. This is a 5-color commander. Lelia? That's not a spider. Keen-eyed That's not a spider. Okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Something fishy is going on here. Are you a fake Spider-Man 5-color good stuff deck? Because that's kind of embarrassing. You know, like, that the deck's not terrible. Maybe they have a Maskwood Nexus? Maybe. Voice of Resurgence? Tajik with double triggers. Let's get some dudes. Everybody in. It's kind of like the first Sliver decks. Yeah, but those are usually like control good stuff. Beyond the Sliververse. Hey, Voice of Resurgence is still a good card. Look, it dies and makes tokens, and if your opponent casts spells during your turn, then you also get tokens. They have 5 mana, but I don't think they have Scion's mana. No, because they're doubled up on green and white. They don't have any blue mana. But they could get blue mana and do nothing to their spiders. A lively dirge. Okay, wait, hold up, chat. What do you think they get? Okay, Skyclave Apparition, that gets rid of Tajik. That's still not a spider. A Dusk Legion Duelist. Our good friend Krenjamin. I'll put counters. And counters. Yay, land! Crenjamin, you call him Crenathy? I'm glad to hear that. I'm Ford. I'm Ford and Chat and I both built this deck and ended up with the same name. I might have to change it though, just to make sure we're like, you know, keeping our style original. We both call them the Cren of the crop. Oh, they're paying a life. We could call this deck miles above the rest. The moral choice, the Morales choice. They're at 2 life. Do you want to play your Spider-Man? Pyrogoyf? R.I.P. Bristly Bill, jeez. I'll go for Trample. And I could go for Indestructible of the Legends. I would rather draw more cards. Do I have a good attack in here? Nope. But I do have another creature. And I think next turn I'll have a good attack. That one. This one. Those ones. These are the worst spiders you've ever seen? 2 legs! 2 legs! No legs! A ghostly tail that floats! Okay, most goyfs, you know, this one's just kind of like a big lizard guy. But 2 legs! I guess 4. 2 legs, 2 arms. Scions can swing in. It does have text. Flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, haste. It doesn't. It still has that text. Cool, man. Put a counter on a guy. And... am I still doing math here? No, I don't think I am. They have a first striker. I have some first strikers. Okay, they're going to 1 life. And surveilling. What's this guy's deck doing? The 5 color cards I own. With a Spider-Man. Or a man-spider. Whatever it was doing, it didn't work. Sorry. Imskir Iron Eater. Hey, that's a card I would like to build around. They are going to get a discount on their commander based on the number of artifacts they control. Then throw artifacts at me, especially high mana value ones, to deal damage to any target. I've got turn 1 actual ramp, Delighted Halfling, or turn 1 Monkey. I'm gonna go with the Halfling because it should let me double spell next turn, which I would like to do. It would be good. Yes, a Mox Amber, weapons manufacturing, and munitions. I think them getting this munitions out early might spell my end before this game has even begun. That is such a card. I love it so much, though. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they sacrifice. Cren and Ragavan, get your buffs. They're ramping. Only 4 mana now for Imskir. And a Shrapnel Blast is going to let them 2 for 1. Taking out Cren and Ragavan, sending me right back to my turn 1. We got Cutesils and Tumblewags. I'm gonna bring out the Tumblewag. Have to pay a life for it, but it's worth it. Tumblewag, grow! I'm gonna hope to go Tumblewag into Kodama to get some mana, because I missed a land. I am Skier. Yes, you're very big. And you do have a mana up. Nice Soul Guide Lantern. I don't really do much graveyard stuff. So many munitions. I could go for swords, but I want to do the thing. So we do it. Kodama rides the Tumblewag. We get a counter. And I will swing in, doubling its counters. And forest. Yay. Ethereum Terramander. This is easily able to adapt for 1 mana here. They have so many artifacts. They're killing a hobbit by throwing munitions. At least they didn't have enough mana to sacrifice something bigger. Ah, dang. Auto Tapper was like, you know what you need? No black mana. Like, no, actually they did want black mana. Very much so. I think I'm going to play Inti. Put the counter on you, but still doubling your own. And I am going to discard... I mean, it destroys artifacts, but it's not what I want right now. Rad. Lots of damage. Didn't get a land there. That's fine. I get lands here. And then I will Swords to Plowshares. Congratulations, you're gaining some life back. Yeah, they don't need to shoot bullets. They can throw them. Demon. Bauble! And he only costs 2 again. Got enough mana to throw. They could kill Inti, easy peasy. But can they deal with the swag? Basilisk Collar, Lifelink, and Death Touch to turn any of these yeets into a kill. Did I have enough mana, though? I only see 3 mana, and it would require sacrificing their commander. So maybe not. You like our opponent's name? Baron Munchausen? Oh, that's the character from the stories that was based on a guy who used to hold parties. I learned about this from a podcast called Sawbones. Do I just want to put some more counters? Giddy up. Counter. Swinging. Doubling. Daggers. And we don't need to give any protection to our legends because we've got lethal damage. GG. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. This deck did great. I love, like, Selesnya Scales deck, and this is Selesnya plus red, which means I had an excuse to run cards like Anna Bakal, Gloria, Inti. These are all really good cards as part of the +1/+1 counters archetype that I feel like usually get left out of +1/+1 counter decks because they're usually in either just red-green or maybe Bant, like the Final Fantasy decks. And with this deck, I get to run cards in my favorite colors, which is Naya. I had a lot of fun with this deck, and I think you will too. If you like +1/+1 counters, this is also a really fun deck to get to experiment more with, like, +1/+1 counters on that legend sub-theme. We do have some pet cards like Bard class in here, which could easily come out, but I would keep them in because they're fun and they hit both of the themes. If you're looking for the deck list, you can find it in the description of the video. And if you would like to suggest a commander for me to build, especially one from some of the recent sets, please let me know. I was thinking about Imskir, Cloud, and maybe even some other Spider-Men before the set is old news. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.